Good morning and God morning to everyone here and those of you online also. So, Elizabeth, if that's what angels sound like, then I'm happy to go to heaven, you know. So it's such a fine sunny morning here in downtown Pasadena. We're located right here in the Playhouse District. We are both here live and we're also online for our service today, and it's so good to have you here however you're showing up, whether you're here in person or here online. So it's so good. We have a lovely community here and we're getting ready to do our Sunday service. So let's just say a few thank yous to the people who help us put this on here. I want to start off with our music team. We just got to hear Elizabeth singing. Let's give a round of applause to Elizabeth Hangan. And for our band, we have Chris and Leon and Brian, like usual. And so I'd like to also say thank you to our practitioner of the day. We have Peter Bedard is our practitioner. He's going to be doing our reading and invocation. He did a beautiful ceremony or meditation earlier. And then he'll also be doing a power talk for us today. So we're going to see a lot of Peter, which is great. We don't get him very often because he's moved out to Palm Springs, but it's great when he's here. And then, hey, I see Reverend Mike back there, our assistant minister. Hey, Rev. I co-opted your job, dude. I didn't see you. All right. And we have so many people that help us to put this service on. We have Harris back there on our computer doing our live streaming. And new today, we have Sebastian, who happens to be Leon's son. He's helping us out with our sound system today. Thank you, Sebastian. And so we have also, I see Sandra back there, and we have Jackie, and we have Dorothy. They're going to be helping us do greeting and also our collection, our conscious contributions later. So without further ado, I'd like to go ahead and get us going. Let's just get into that mood for a little bit of a visual meditation put together by Gabriel. We'll be seeing it on the screen, or you'll see it on your screen at home. And so why don't you take a deep breath in with me? And just let that go as we settle back and relax into a little bit of music. Maybe. There we go.
Well, there's a dark and a troubled side of life. There's a bright and a sunny side too. Though we meet with the darkness and strife, the sunny side we also may view. So keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. It will help us every day. It will brighten up the way if we keep on the sunny side of life. Oh, the storm and its fury broke today, crushing dreams that we cherish so dear. Clouds and storms will in time pass away. The sun again will shine bright and clear. So keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. It will help us every day. It will brighten up the way if we keep on the sunny side of life. Greet with a song of hope each day. Though the moments be cloudy or fair, let us trust in our Savior always, to keep everyone in His care. So keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. It will help us every day. It will brighten up the way if we keep on the sunny side of life. So keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. It will help us every day. It will brighten up the way if we keep on the sunny side of life.
Yes, keep on the sunny side of life. Now all I need is that cow or that bull to be there for me. It will brighten my day every day. So I'd like to go ahead and invite Peter to come on up. He's going to do our reading and our invocation. Come on up, Peter.
Hey. That's what I like, right? Again, my name is Peter Bedard. I am grateful to be a practitioner here at the Ahiah Center for Spiritual Living. To be in this community again is just like coming home. So thank you for being my family. Today's reading comes from the Science of Mind magazine, and it's titled, Know Your Zip Code. Everything is holy. Everybody's holy. Everywhere is holy. Every day is an eternity. Everyone's an angel. That was a quote by Allen Ginsberg. And then from Ernest Holmes, communion is entering into conscious union with the essence of things. Ram Dass said, just because you're seeing divine light, experiencing waves of bliss, or conversing with gods and goddesses is no reason to not know your zip code. This reminds me of a similar wise reflection. Beware of being so heavenly minded, you are not earthly good. We evolve by being involved. And since evolution knows no finish line, our involvement in the amalgams of spirituality and humanity are continuously before us to blend our devotion and action. Thomas Troward wrote, and Thomas Troward wrote a lot, the error of the extreme individualist, let me go back. The error of the extreme idealist is in endeavoring to realize the absolute without the relative. And the error of the extreme materialist is in endeavoring to realize the relative without the absolute. Periods of heightened spiritual experience are not excuses to dismiss the realities within our human lives. I make walking a part of my daily practice, and seeing the winter months, the hours of light naturally lessen. Due to long work hours, my miles of steps can happen in the cold and dark. Winter, to use Ram Dass's analogy, is sort of like a zip code. I have communion with God, and I have also communion with winter. I work with the balance of one foot in the ethereal and one in earthly form. And just like winter, form changes. I don't have to spend time in blaming or fighting the form of it. To know your zip code is a reminder to bring divinity and sacred connection into the routine of human endeavors, just as we bring it naturally into conversation with the divine. And our affirmation is all is holy in the here and the now. All is holy in the here and the now. The idea of being present in the here and the now, in the ethereal and in the physical, is something that I always have to remind myself of. And so in that remembering, let's take a moment to just contemplate those words. Father, Mother, God, God is creator of all things. I welcome the goodness of this moment in my heart. I acknowledge it in my breath. I feel it in my body. I know that goodness in my form as I am in the physical and the etheric all at the same time, like two sides of a coin. There are two sides to me, and yet I know that I am one. I exist in that physical, I exist in that etheric. I recognize my being as being both, and as both, as one. And so I let my roots go deep into the ground as I let my limbs soar up into the sky, and I declare that the goodness of God is mine. I declare that that goodness is who I am. And I rejoice, I give thanks for that goodness. I know it in my body. I understand it in my mind. I feel it at the core of my being. And I release these words knowing that this is my truth, knowing that this experience is who I am, that all of it, that the allness, the goodness, the everything is mine. And I affirm it by simply saying, and so it is. Thank you.
Peter, would you help me? Let's say thank you to Peter, yes. But if you would help me to light the peace candle. And so we just light a candle for peace today, knowing that as we know that life that is peace more fully, more completely, as us, through us, that it is reflected back into our experience, it's reflected back into the world, it's reflected back into all of life. And so as we know that today, we give thanks for knowing that truth of peace moving through the world a little bit more right here, right now. And for knowing that, I just say life and God are good and very good. And together we say, and so it is. Amen and amen. And so now let's just take a moment to say hi to your neighbors. We're not hugging right now, but we can wave and say hi. And while you guys do that, I'm going to turn on a little more light. Wow. Okay, so now I'd like to ask Elizabeth to come on up, and she's going to give us another song.
Greetings, Earth people. Get myself together here. Good morning, everyone. I hope you had a joyful weekend, and this will be a nice little capper for that. And it's always good to be here. I want to say good morning to my mother who may be watching. Morning, Mom. This song, so the subject today is love your body. Love this body. So, I'm looking in the mirror and going, well, okay, I'll try to do everything I can. But I read the article that you posted. And so there are so many things that are connected with loving your body. If you don't love the body that you have, then it's difficult to love other people's bodies or love them. And so I thought about that. That really made sense. I tried to go out and love a lot of people this weekend. Yeah. Yeah. Gentle warrior, your heart like gold and rainbow in your eyes. Brave companion, do you see a world shining in the sky? With your body dancing like an arrow, spreading joy beneath your feet, and your hands, they wave like tall grass in the wind as you speak with the shyness of a small child and the wisdom of a sage. I tell you now, there is no reason to be afraid. Brother warrior, there are none of us who walk this path alone. Spirit healer is the only life that you have ever known. I see your smile in the sunlight. I hear your song in the rain, and I hold you inside me. Feel your love and know you'll at this time when the earth is awaking to the dawn of another age, I tell you now, there is no reason to be afraid. That all living things can share, and those who care are with us everywhere.
Yes. Beautifully sung, Elizabeth. Thank you.
Thank Kate Wolf for that.
Yes. And such beautiful lyrics, too, with such meaning. So, here we are in May. June. Here, look at that. We're not in May. We're already in June. I've been having trouble with this all week. So here we are in June, and our theme for June is the living temple. We're talking about, of course, our body, this body that is our living temple. And last week I said that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. Or you can say it that we are spiritual beings living a human life. However you want to say it, there's this dichotomy. There's a little bit of a touch of duality that goes on. And it's the truth of our lives. And, as Peter mentioned in his reading today, you really can't just be at either one of those sides. You can't live on the idealistic side of its only spirit, because then you walk into walls. It's kind of strange. And you also can't live from the place, I don't believe, of it's only the material world around us, because we have this spiritual life also. And so we get to live from both aspects, and we know that our soul, this individualized expression of the divine that each and every one of us has, is perfect. It's whole, perfect, and complete. We know that to be true because it's a piece of the divine, and spirit is always fully, in every little bit of it, whole, perfect, and complete. So what can we say about our bodies? Are our bodies perfect? Well, from a physics standpoint, we can't quite say that. I'm a physicist, so I have to bring it up every once in a while, or all the time, either way. But, the second law of thermodynamics says that entropy, disorder, is going to increase. In any system, it will always increase. And so the reality is our bodies are going to always have a little bit of disorder, and it's always going to be increasing a little bit. It can stay the same or it can increase. It can't get more or less disorder in the entire system. And so our bodies are not exactly perfect, and that's okay, because everything in time we don't expect to be perfect. But there is this spiritual idea of our body which is perfect. And the more we know that to be true, the more we look at that and we know that for our lives to be true, the more true it becomes in our lives. Because spirit always reflects back to us what we think into it. And so that's really what we want to be focusing in on, is not the little imperfections we find in our body, but in the spiritual prototype of our body, that truth that's behind our body that is perfect, and knowing that to be the truth of ourselves. And so our living temple then is created that way. So what I want to do is I'd like to go ahead and ask Peter to come up and tell us a little bit about what he knows. And by the way, he knows a lot. Peter's been doing this work from a physical standpoint on his body, and he can say this for a long time. Forget I started down that path. I don't know where that was going, but he can tell you about it. He is the author of a book called Convergence Healing, and let's welcome Peter back up to the stage.
And can I take this off just to hold it?
Absolutely can.
Okay. Yes. Thank you. I have to say, before I even give my talk, that this is amazing. I don't know what you could see on camera, but this background with these are the kids, their youth group?
Absolutely. The
Yeah.
kids made everything up here, and then Gabriel just kind of hung it up for display.
It's like the energy with this and the feeling of it is just amazing. And I'm so grateful for that. And that caterpillar, I don't know if you could see it, but if you're here and you want to come in, that caterpillar is epic. It's got eyelashes and it's adorable. I am so grateful to be here, as I love to say, because it is my heart's truth. And this topic is, you know how God works, man? You know, this is my topic, loving the body, right? I used to hate my body. And I think a few of you, I think Jackie maybe knows part of my story. Many years ago, I was slammed into the back of a parked semi-truck and I died. And I shattered my left knee. I split my right wrist open. I cracked 5 vertebrae. I had undiagnosed brain damage. Hi, Gloria. And I had all kinds of other things that just went wrong, with my physical self. And in losing my ability to exist in the world in the way I knew how, I then became very judgmental of my body. And this happened when I was young. And so I was also going through I was only 17, almost 18. So I was finishing up puberty. And that's a difficult place for a lot of us to be in our bodies. There's a lot of issues that come as teenagers where we maybe don't like ourselves and we carry that into our future. And I personally hated my body. I am French of ethnicity. I'm pretty white as you can pretty get. My ethnicity is white. I am French and German, a little bit of Polish and a tiny bit of Norwegian, right? And on the French side of my family, there is something that the men carry with us, and we have these raised clavicles right here on our shoulders. So I have a little bump on my shoulder. And that is a very French thing. It's almost also like, the women in our family tend to have big hips, right? There's that part of our lineage that you could see through our ancestry that we've carried. And I was so ashamed of these bumps on my shoulders. As a kid, I always had lots of girlfriends, and the girls would always try to put their heads on my shoulder, and then they'd be like, ow, right? And I didn't have that big corn-fed, right, barrel chest kind of body type. And so I hated my body. And in the 80s, I was in the theater. I was an actor. I did modeling and stuff like that. And I would always be criticized for that because what was in the 80s was those big corn-fed Midwestern guys, right? The big barrel chest. I didn't have that. And I was embarrassed by who I was. And I've come to actually discover the perfection of my body in the idea that my imperfections are also what make me the perfect version of me. And I love my bumpy shoulders now. I love them. And I see the perfection of who I am as an expression of the divine in this body that I have inherited from my ancestors. And I am so grateful for that. And I'm asking you to discover that love, that perfection of the imperfection that is there. There was a time that I hated my body so much that I had dysmorphia. I would look in the mirror and I would see a manufacturing of what I thought was the truth. I would look in the mirror and I would call it my monster. I would see an ugliness. And people would tell me, oh, you're so cute, you're so handsome, you're so whatever. And I could never hear that. They might say that, but in my head, I was replacing their words with ugly. And so when someone gave me a compliment, I couldn't hear the compliment because I looked at my body and I hated it. And I knew that there was something wrong because what I was thinking, what I was feeling wasn't matching what people were telling me. And so I had to challenge myself, and I did. And I'm going to tell you how I did it because it's a funny story. So I decided that I was going to love my body. In order to do that, I had to love myself, which means I had to see myself, and then I had to let other people see myself. So I practiced being naked. because I used to cover everything up. I used to hide everything as best I could. I never took my shirt off as a kid. Even as an athlete, I was a dancer, right? I always wore a shirt. Even on sports teams, I would never be the skins and the shirts, right? I would always be a shirt. And so I had to practice loving who I was. So I got naked and I started looking at myself in the mirror and I started doing my best just to see who I am, my physical form, and being comfortable with my physical form as it is without judgment. And when that judgment came into my mind, into my consciousness, instead of pushing it away or telling it to go away or being angry at it, I simply said, "Thank you. I'm so sorry you're suffering, and I love you." And I had to practice that because I didn't believe it, but I knew that God doesn't make mistakes. And so I had to find the beauty in something that I thought was ugly. And I did all kinds of things that are going to make you laugh. I started doing naked yoga. I literally went to a naked yoga class. The first couple times I couldn't go in the door. Actually, I walked in the door and ran out. Because once you got in the door, you had to take your clothes off. And then I had all kinds of opinions and judgments about who does that and what are those people and why would they do something like that. But I did it anyway. And I told you, I tell you that that was one of the hardest yoga classes I ever did. There was no time for me to think about being naked because that teacher, they were pushing us so hard. There was only time to do the yoga. And when those thoughts, just like in yoga, when you hold a certain pose and maybe your brain, they call it the monkey brain or whatever you want to call it, is saying, "Oh my God, I can't do this anymore." Well, that part of my brain that was also saying, "Oh my God, people are looking at your butt," right? I couldn't give that part of my brain any more time. I had to just say, "I hear you. I'm so sorry you're scared, and I love you." And I went to do things like I went to naked beaches and I went to naked pool parties and all these types of things just to claim my body. And every time I went, I was still afraid. Every time I went, I was still scared that someone was going to see my ugliness. And one time, someone walked up to me and said, "You have the sexiest shoulders I had ever seen." And I cried. First, I panicked and ran away. I literally did. I looked at this guy and I was just like, "I gotta go." And I was out the door. But that experience of somebody being able to see what I thought was ugly as being attractive, that taught me something in that moment. And so I'm asking you, whatever part of you that you may be judging, whether it's a little extra weights, whether it's your hips, whether it's the wrinkles, whether it's a part of your body that you have deemed unlovable, I'm asking you to take a moment and just breathe with me. Close your eyes. And I'm inviting you to love yourself, to love that part of you. And some of us say, "Well, I don't know how to do that." So I'm going to give you a way to do that. I'm going to ask you to think about the color of love. If you were to paint the walls with that color, what color would you pick so someone else would be able to see that that is love? That color is the feeling of love. And I'm going to ask you to understand the texture of love. What is the texture of love? Maybe it's soft and plush and fuzzy or velvety. For me, it's always a rough, cheap towel. I love that scratchy feeling. Oh man, I'm like a little puppy. You scratch my butt and I'm happy. So I love that texture. So I'm inviting you To think about that color of love and that texture of love, and to breathe that experience, that texture, that feeling into your body, to wrap that part. Maybe it's your heart, maybe it's something else, to wrap that part of your body in that loving texture, to breathe that color in, to bring that color in and guide it into that part of you that needs that love, that needs to recognize its beauty. And so I'm just going to invite you just to take 10 seconds to breathe, to feel, to hold that part of you in love. I love myself so much that I let the goodness of the divine be felt inside of me. I wrap that texture of love around that part of me. I fill it up. I pour that color of love deep inside my cells. And I say, thank you. And I'm inviting you to get naked, to see your reflection, to see the beauty that God is as you, and to love that, to practice walking and loving and living and breathing that perfection of the divine that is revealing itself as you, as my bumpy shoulders. And so I say thank you, I love you, and namaste.
Namaste, Peter. Thank you. You know, your process reminds me of Ho'oponopono. Right? So the process of Ho'oponopono is, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And if we can say that to our body, or any variant of that to our body, then I think we're going in the right direction. So, here we are with today's talk title being Loving This Body. Not somebody else's body, but loving this body, this divine creation that is my body. And so Ernest Holmes, he tells us, just going to start right off with Ernest this week, our founder, Ernest Holmes. He says, the body is the house in which, for the present, you are living, and you need to keep it in good repair by a right mental attitude toward it, experiences, and people. Your body is entitled to your respect. Your body is entitled to your respect. And so as I read that, I went, yeah, your body is entitled to your respect. Absolutely. And then I thought, well, what does it look like to respect your body? And I was stuck for a little bit. So then, I started looking around on the internet, for respect, and I found, that song. Tina Meeks sang it here a couple months ago. Respect yourself, right? And it goes on to say, if you don't respect yourself, ain't nobody gonna give a cahoot. And by the way, it's cahoot. Oh, right? I think Tina did a better job. But it's true. And so it got me thinking, well, maybe if I don't quite understand how I'm supposed to respect my body, maybe I can think about, how is it that I see other people? Because if they respect themselves, then I will respect them, is what that song is saying. And I think that might be true. So I thought about, well, how is it that other people show up that I kind of see that they respect their body, so I respect them? And so the first thing that came up for me was I went to breakfast with my husband Gabriel the other day, and we went downtown Long Beach to the Omelet Inn, and we split an omelet. They have huge omelets there. Split an omelet, and on the way there and the way back from the back to our car, we passed Gold's Gym, right? And so you see all the gym bunnies going in and out, right? And they obviously, they respect their body. They're working towards, building their body into something that they deem, right? What they see as perfection. And I respect that of them. I respect the fact that they spend that time and that effort. It reminds me of back in the day when I used to go to the gym 5 or 6 days a week. And so I respect that. I can respect that in people. And then I thought, sometimes I see people and they are just dressed to the nines, whatever that term means. I don't even know what it means, but dressed to the nines. But we all know what it means. I just don't know where it came from. And what they are is they're dressed stylishly. They're dressed in a style that fits them. They're dressed in a style that kind of puts them out in front, a little bit of, hey, look at me type of thing. And I respect that. I respect that in them. And then the third way I kind of saw that was, how you walk into a room sometimes and your eye is just completely drawn to a person. And it's not that they're dressed exactly the right way, or that they're just so nicely coiffed, or that they have a gym body, or any of those things. It has more to do, I think, with how they see themselves. And then because they see themselves in a particular way, everybody else around them kind of sees them that way. And to me, the ones I like the most are not the ones who see themselves as big and powerful, but the ones who just they draw my attention because they seem to be so completely comfortable in themselves. That to me, has a beauty to it that is so enamoring, so eye-catching, so appealing, so just draws me into them. And I think that's what I'm really talking about today. Respect yourself from that perspective. Maybe what that means is that, it doesn't matter what size, shape, color, right? Doesn't matter whether you have knobs on your shoulders or not. And maybe we don't have to go to naked yoga to figure that out. I don't know. I'll have to see if Pasha wants to teach a naked yoga class. All kidding aside, it does. Don't give me any troubles. Don't call in and say I shouldn't be talking. No. I know you guys. You guys love it. It's just fine, isn't it? We just tell the truth here. But maybe, if we just love ourselves for who we are, that's enough. That's enough for everybody around us. It's enough for ourselves also. So, why should I love my body? Well, I think India Aries says it this way. She says, my body is beautiful and sacred, and I'm going to celebrate it. I'm going to celebrate it. And so, is it true? Are we beautiful and sacred? Absolutely, I believe that. We are all individually beautiful and sacred. I talked about us having this human experience at the beginning. We are having a human experience because, spirit, at least what we understand about spirit, works exactly that way. Right? We understand spirit as a triune nature, which is a fancy way of saying it's got three aspects to it. The mind, or spirit, this aspect of spirit where all thought resides. Everything that you think and I think and everything thinks in this entire universe all resides there. And then there's that middle part, when we do the drawing. Where's our drawing? Oh, it's on the front here. Yes. So as you look at that drawing, the middle part we call the soul. And it's impressed by all that thought, meaning it's pushed down onto it. And it just says yes. It doesn't argue. It doesn't say, you should think something else. It just says yes. And then it creates in the body, all the world of effect around us, what we think. And then we get to experience that in our lives, and we get to change our thought, right? And the whole process starts all over again. It's just an infinite loop. And so if that's what spirit is this infinite wisdom intelligence that is out there experiencing itself through us and as us, in order to experience itself and to change a little bit and experience itself again, then the vessel that contains our soul, this aspect of the one divine mind that we are, that's doing that experiencing, that vessel has to be absolutely sacred. And so in this way, all our bodies are good, all of them, because it is the living temple that we are. And so by loving our bodies, then we are accepting ourselves for who we are. We're accepting ourselves no matter what shows up there as the vessel that has brought us here to experience who we have come here to be. And so as we love ourselves more and more and more, then our bodies actually change. We believe in the healing power of thought. We believe that what our thinking is gets reflected back to us. So can we think our body into disease? Absolutely. But the good news about that is we can think our body out of disease, right? What you think into, you can think out of. And so we have that before us to always, always, always be looking at that spiritual prototype, that perfection that lies within us, to know that more completely, more fully, and to live our lives from there. So last week, I told us we were all magnificent, and I gave a bit of a quote from Marianne Williamson that was embedded in something else. So I'm going to, on your screen, I'm giving you the full quote from her itself. She says, "An acorn does not have to say, 'I intend to become an oak tree.' Natural intelligence intends that every living thing become the highest form of itself and designs us accordingly." And so we can know that spiritual prototype, that thing that is in thought, that is back behind the reality that is our body, is been put there, has been created specifically for us in order to have us know our highest form, our highest form. Today we are absolutely graced with the presence of somebody very special to us in this community. Her name is Sylvia Campbell, and her daughter's here, Sharon. Let's just give her a hand. And I'm so happy that she's able to be here today. We're going to be, I'll tell you a little bit more about it later, but we're going to be doing some birthday cake for her after service. So stick around for that. And if you're at home, I'm telling you this now so that if you're at home in your jammies, you have time still, to put on some clothes and run on down to Ahiah and celebrate a birthday with Sylvia. Yes, yes, yes. So I want to give us our affirmation today that Harris has put together. I think this is a great affirmation. Really something for us to remember. It's showing up on our screens. Just say it along with me today. The spirit I am loves the body I am. Let's say that one more time. The spirit I am loves the body I am. And now in your program today is an insert. So if you want to read that along with me, it's also showing up here on your screen. It's a poem called Today I Asked My Body What She Needed, and it's by Holly Holden. And I read this poem and I thought, that's exactly what we're talking about today. So I'm going to go ahead and read that for you. Today I asked my body what she needed, which is a big deal considering my journey of not really asking that much. I thought she might need some more water, or protein, or greens, or yoga, or supplements, or movement. But as I stood in the shower, reflecting on her stretch marks, her roundness where I would like flatness, her softness where I would like firmness, all those conditioned wishes that form a bundle of never quite rightness, she whispered very gently, "Could you just love me like this?" And absolutely the answer is yes. And so I'm going to leave you, you got that to take with you today. I'm going to leave you with that because I think if we just take that poem in for ourselves, that's all the homework we need for this week. But, as always, if you're not quite sure how to do that, it's okay. Because we can always turn within and just let Spirit guide us. Thank you, and namaste. And so, now is the time for our conscious contributions. Oh no, now is the time for a prayer. Thank you. I got the music over here. Just go along with me as we know this truth, know this life, this power, this presence, this spirit that is living back behind all that there is, which is all the beauty, all the wholeness, all the order, all the harmony that God is. We see it around us, we feel it within us, because it is always there. We can never be separated from this one life, this one power, this one presence. And so I'm knowing that this is the truth of me. I'm knowing it to be the truth of you. I'm knowing it to be the truth of this entire world. That we are the life that God is. We are that living spirit moving through this body and as it, moving through and as everything in the world around us that we see and that we touch. It is this life divine that we are living as the individualized expression of the divine. And from that place of knowing, I know that each and every one of us are whole, perfect, and complete in the mind that God is. Absolutely true. And so it's from this place of knowing that I speak my word as the truth of each and every one of us here today. Knowing that there is a healing in this world that is always, always, always moving forward, is always becoming more true. It's a healing that is available to us. It's available to everyone. It is available to our dear Mother Earth itself. It is the revealing of the wholeness and order and beauty and harmony that God is naturally in our living body temple, and also in the world around us, in the affairs of all the people around us. It is the peace that we prayed for earlier. It is the wholeness and the harmony. It is the love that God is, that shows up in our relationships and in our relationship with our body. It is all that we are and more. And so I give thanks for that knowingness. I give thanks for the path leading forward that is always, always, always lifting us higher. I give thanks for knowing the love that God is more fully in my life and in your life, in all life. And I just release this prayer to the law, knowing that it's already fulfilled in the mind that God is. And I say, life and God are good and very good. And together we say, and so it is. Amen and amen. And so now it's time for our conscious contributions. And so I know that many of you have already given online. If you have not yet, then there's 3 ways of doing that. You can go to ahiah.com/donate, or you can text to give to 616, not 626, 616-229-2225. Or you can always send a check into the address on your screen. And thank you so much for the little love notes that come in with those checks. It really raises my day every time I see one. And so for those of you who are present here, there are offering envelopes in the pews, and you can put your offering in that. And we have Sandra and Dorothy going around collecting those offerings, those conscious contributions. And so now why don't we go ahead and take whatever we've gotten, we've brought and given to Ahiah, knowing absolutely that everything we give goes not just to this Sunday experience, but to all the work that we do. The work with Friends Indeed, the work with our children, the work with within our community also. And so I just want to go ahead and say the blessing that's showing up on your screen here. Go ahead and read it along with me. This gift I give is God in action. I send it forth with joy, confidence, and ease. I am blessed by the law of giving and receiving as I now share my gift with life. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. And so it is. Amen and amen. So now I'd like to ask Elizabeth, come on up. She's going to sing a song.
Sorry, just a moment. I was all involved in other things.
One, two, three.
Can't you feel it in your bones? Yes, a change is coming on from every walk of life. People seeing the light. But can't you feel it in your heart now? A new thing is taking shape. Reach out and touch a hand. Make a friend if you can. Reach out and touch a hand. Make a friend if you can. Reach out and touch a hand. Make a friend if you can. it's reflected in your attitude of others just like you. Reach out and touch a hand. Make a friend if you can. Every day folks are walking up, tell the needs to one another. That's waking up, sorry about that. We're on our way. Make the world a better place. Here we go. Lay down and touch a hand. Make a friend if you can. Reach out and touch a hand. Make a friend if you can. Reach out and touch a hand. Make a friend if you can. Reach out and touch a hand. Make a friend if you can. Come on, band. Brian said no. No, I'm not doing it. I know a place, ain't nobody crying, ain't nobody worried, oh, ain't nobody worried. Well, what about you, my friend? Anytime to come on in, live life the united way. Come on and join us. Come on and join us today. Reach out and touch a hand. Make a friend if you can. Reach out and touch a hand. Make a friend if you can. Reach out and touch a hand. Reach out and make a friend, yeah. Reach out and touch a hand. Make a friend. You know you gotta make a friend. Oh, you can. Woo! As they say, hallelujah! Hallelujah!
Oh, my goodness. Sylvia, I should have thrown you a tambourine. I should have. You know, every year she calls me on my birthday and she drums for me. So, you know, that's what made me think of that. Absolutely. So let's go ahead and ask the youth to come on up. Let's hear what they have to say. What you guys been doing? I want to echo that. Thank you, guys.
Our fundraiser was amazingly successful. We are
I don't think the mic's on.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Our fundraiser was amazingly successful. So thank you for everybody that came or just donated or bought a ticket, all of it. We are set for camp. We're ready to go.
Yep.
We're very excited about that.
And we have a head start for winter camp as far as fundraising on winter camp.
Yes, we do. Which, who will be going to winter camp for the first time? Yay,
Oh, Connie, Alex.
She's
yes.
not excited. We're having to really twist her arm about it. And so today we talked about, we made I Love Myself jars. And we're going to be keeping these here, and each Sunday we'll be adding to them until they're full, and with very specific things that we are proud of ourselves about, or that we love about ourselves, and then we'll have a special project at the end of that time, whenever that will be. And so we talked really about what that meant and how that shows up, and how all the different situations that we might face in everyday life, how we can continue to love our friends and our family, but also honor ourselves at the same time. And that can be very tricky to navigate. So we spent a lot of time talking about that today. And that's it from us.
Perfect.
Oh, that's not true. I have a couple people who are going to speak and share what's in their jar. Thank you, Alex. Alex gave me this side, so I knew I forgot something. So I'll hold that for you. Do you need to pull it out, or you don't want to?
No. Something that I love about myself is that I'm a good baker.
Thank you. You are a good baker.
Yeah, exactly. Bring it on down.
Okay, so one thing that I put in here was that I love the confidence I have in myself and in my decisions.
Yes.
I was helping everybody else. Didn't get to finish mine. What I was going to write is, I love that I can laugh at myself.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Anybody else on the line want to share something? Okay, I'm going to make Matthias.
Okay.
I wrote, one thing that I love about myself is that I'm funny.
You are funny.
Yes, you are.
So that's it from us. Thank you.
All right. Yes, yes, yes. So thank you again, guys. So the teens, 3 of our teens will be running off to camp in July. So it's Naama, Perry, and Phoebe. And as we grow this youth movement here at Ahiah, we'll be sending more off in the coming years. So, thank you for supporting them. And thank you to Lisa, who just walked out, for, really creating this youth program for us. By the way, if there's anybody who would like to help out with you, I would love to chat with you. Lisa would love to chat with you. It's an easy thing to do it because Lisa does everything. She has it all ready for you. So all you have to do is come and be in joy with the kids. So that's all. I want to remind everybody about a few things coming up. We have the Women's Circle on Friday. And their theme this time is responsibility. And they're going to be honoring Gay Pride Month, Juneteenth, while they take a lighthearted look at astrology. Hey, babe, what's your sign? Come on down. So they're just going to have some fun with that, I think. And hey, Rev, you want to talk a little bit? Reverend Mike's going to be speaking the next 2 weeks, and next week is Juneteenth.
Yes. Good morning, family. So next week is the observance and remembrance of Juneteenth, which is actually the first and only African-American holiday. The state of Texas declared it to be a state holiday in 1976. 47 years later, the federal government caught up, and now we have a national holiday. And Juneteenth is about the remembrance of what makes us uniquely loving. There is a lot of love in our history. No matter what the facts have been, the truth is that our culture stands forward as a bright light, as a prototype for us becoming the first truly human beings, all of us together as one family. So next week, we're going to share in some African American culture. Number one, which is like eating. We love to eat. So come out and join us in that. And then we're going to share some historical facts, some truth, some little known understandings about Juneteenth and why it's so special, and why it really means freedom and truth. So we're going to celebrate that. And Rev, I don't want to steal your thunder, but that song, Reach Out, Take a Hand, right? And Make a Friend. I just want to say that one of the reasons we are celebrating our beloved Sylvia Campbell is I know a little story about her. And when she first came to Ahiah, the center, which was the Pasadena Church of Religious Science, she loved it so much. And she saw Janet White, who was one of our JW, our loving practitioners, who's teaching from the other side of life now. And she walked up to her and said, I want to be your friend. And that story and the spirit of that is Ahiah, right? When you come here, that's the undercurrent. I want to be your friend, you know? And that's been my experience from the day. And every time I think about Sylvia, I think about that and how much I love that truth. So happy Earth Day, Sylvia. Okay, Rev.
Cake.
Yeah.
And we got cake coming up right after this. So let's do a little bit of celebrating. Also, we're going to remind you that we're in week 2. We had a lovely group of people come together last Wednesday for the first foundation class, but would love to add a few more people to that. And so, in fact, we're going to be adding Myrna and Lisa as our small group leaders for that class. So we would love to have a few more people. We'll throw in those small groups. And so all you have to do is go to ahiah.com/classes and register, and it's got the link there and everything that you need. So love to see you there. I want to remind you that our book study is doing a new book now. We started this last week. I actually was able to attend because I moved foundations to Wednesday, so I was able to attend last week. The Perfect Power Within You by Jack Addington, who used to be the senior minister right here at Ahiah. Well, it was called Pasadena Church of Religious Science in those days. And that's 7 to 8:30. I want you to just save the date. We've got an ordination ceremony for me coming up September 24th at 1 o'clock. And I want to remind you, we've got some more tickets for Hollywood Bowl. We still have those, and we also have some for the Dodgers versus the San Francisco game all the way out September 7th. So go ahead and you can get those by going to ahiah.com or seeing me. What was that? Go Dodgers! Yes. And last fall, I would just want to remind you, everyone who is a practitioner here at Ahiah, would you go ahead and take a stand? These are the people who would love to pray you in. And you might see that Frederick Southern, is here, and he is one of our new practitioners. He's been a practitioner for a while. He's just moved his license to us. And we are so happy to have you here, Fred. And so if you want to get contact information for any of our practitioners so you can talk to them offline a little bit, you can get it by going to ahiah.com/meetourpractitioners. We also have an online ministry that you can participate in by going to ahiah.com/prayers. It's a form. You tell us what you'd want prayed for, and we love to pray for you. We also have prayer forms in the pews. If you want to fill those out, Reverend Mike has a copy of it, and then stick it out in the prayer box that's right back there. As you're going out, you'll see it, and we will take that into prayer for you for a week. We also have a dial-a-prayer. It's a different prayer and a reading that are there online. You can go to ahiah.com/dial-a-prayer, or you can call us at our main phone number and press option 7. So however that is that you need to have prayer, we have plenty of ways to get it to you. So let's go ahead and do a little prayer ourselves. It's called our benediction. We're going to pray our way out of here and right on into the fellowship room where we're going to have some cake. So let's go ahead and read this along with me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in all of my affairs. I accept it. I am it, and I share it, just the way it appears and just the way it appears not. Thank you, life. Amen and amen. It's so good having you here today. I will be on Zoom in just a few minutes. Love to chat with those of you who are online as we get ready for some cake. And love to see you next week also, either here or online. This is the place where we come together to know this spiritual community in all of its glorious ways. So I thank you for being here today. I'll see you next week. Namaste, everyone.